Welcome to the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Podcast. And today we have Mr. Virtual Fleet Land, my friend Ray Zhang, who's actually in China at the moment. And you know what's funny, Ray? I'm in Venezuela right now. So we're both out of the US doing this podcast. That's crazy. How you doing,
Yeah.
brother?
Good. How are you, Ricardo?
Good, man. I was not expecting you to be in China, so
Yeah.
that's a surprise to me. And I'm in Venezuela, so I'm not. None of us are in the U.S. But guess what? We're streaming all over the U.S. right now. So
Yeah.
for those of you, this is a perfect example, Ray, of it doesn't matter where you are. Like you don't have to be in the U.S. to do this. You could be in China or you could be in Venezuela, like I am right now. You can literally do real estate from anywhere in the world. But let's talk about you, man. Like, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, where do you come from? What do you do in your past life? Those kind of things.
Yeah. I'm from here, China, and went to the U.S. about 12, 13 years ago,
Okay.
and as a student. So I was kind of lost because, I didn't have enough money to live by day by day. So, but after so many years, finally, I step into what I do right now, and I can make a good living, I guess.
So tell me, when you moved to China, from China to the U.S., how old were you?
I was about 20, 23.
Did you speak English at the time or no English?
I don't think you could understand me. But
Right.
yeah, but right now maybe a little, right? So
Yeah, you tried to speak English back then, right? And
yeah, yeah. Everybody I got hold of, they were like, "What the hell are you talk about?" But
and when you moved to the U.S., what were some of the first jobs you ever had? Like, because you didn't come here started investing in real estate right away, right?
yeah, I had I went to outside to work for a yard and cut the trees and find out the saw is very heavy, and the owner saw me working slowly. I really did my best, but he fired me anyways because I was very slow.
Okay.
That was my first job. Second job, I was a janitor, cleaning floors, and it begins there.
And you were cleaning floors, what, at an office building or what was it?
Yeah, kind of like a museum. Uh, that's one I had a lot of time to listen to stuff because nobody is around me, so I can do whatever I wanted.
Okay. And so how old are you today?
I'm 36.
36. So we're talking about maybe 13 years ago is when you moved to America.
Yeah, about 13 years
And
ago.
and you did landscaping, you did um,
Janitor.
janitor. What else did you do?
That's basically about it. After that, my income had a jump because I was always listening to the positive audio tape, and I was a car dealer after that, and it's totally different lifestyle than
How
being
did
a
you
janitor.
jump from being a janitor to a car dealer?
I guess a lot of time we see the a lot of time we get trapped into what should I do? What can I do? Is this new thing something I should do? We focus on the method instead of focusing on the mindset. So if your mindset is right, you can make everything work. But if your mindset is not right, the thing that you're trying to do might not work for you. So I think I got my mindset right because I listened to this book, particularly, I'm going to share over and over again. And then I was mentally ready. And then I started to do car flips.
Okay, what book was that?
It's not Think and Go Rich. It's called The Science of Getting Rich.
The Science of Getting Rich. That's a great book.
Yeah, 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 very good book. I was listening to it no less than 300 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long is the book on the audio version?
about 2 hours. I was listening about 5 times a day for
Okay.
about a month,
So you were obsessed with the book, basically,
basically.
and
Yeah,
you got to listen to it every day. You became a car dealer.
yeah.
So I'm assuming that you were going to the auctions and buying cars and selling them and that kind of, is that what you did, sort of?
I did at the beginning, but I found out it's not a good method because everyone is bidding, and when there's a bidding war, people get emotional, so they pay a lot of money, right? So what
Right.
I do is I reach out to the private seller, and I just negotiate. So that's why in my land course right now, I put a huge emphasis on negotiation. So that skill was shaped by those so many years of negotiating with with the car owners.
Understood.
Yeah.
And so you never had a Chinese restaurant?
No.
No, come on, man. So, most of
Yeah.
my friends that are Chinese, they either have a restaurant or something along those lines, and
Yeah. It's
you can't,
hard. It's hard.
it's
It
hard,
is.
and it's the food business is not easy. People think it's easy, and it's not.
Yeah.
So how do you go from? Do you still own the car dealerships or not anymore?
Not anymore. No.
What happened?
So I moved from Hawaii. Originally went to Hawaii, so I moved from Hawaii to Florida. I made a decision to change, right? So I think the car sales days is gone. So right now I have to do real estate full time. So
Okay,
I don't have that dealership anymore. Yeah.
right. So you didn't have an option, basically. When
Yeah.
you left Hawaii, you kind of like burned all the ships. And you
Yeah.
moved to
Basically.
Florida, and so what did you start doing as soon as you moved to Florida?
What made me to move?
No, like what did you start doing? Like because you said you wanted
Oh.
to change your environment.
Yeah, yeah. So it was hard. I was earning about 50 grand a month flipping cars.
Okay,
And I made a decision to move to Florida to do land flipping full time because when I was a car dealer, I was doing land as well, but not a lot of volume. So I decided to do that full time, and it's from 50,000 to zero, right? And then I have to think of a way to make money. But luckily enough, um, I made it work in the first month moving there.
good deal, man. And who did you learn from? Who do you learn the land flipping method from?
I joined a course, but it didn't teach me the way I wanted to teach because that I want to do because they teach me to buy a land and sell in terms. I was
Okay,
like, why do I hustle for like $150 a month? That was a very hard thing to do. So I changed the system a little bit, and with the help of my military friend, I just make it uh, make it work for myself. So I twist the system and I add something on my own, and luckily enough, it works. It works great.
good
Yeah.
deal. And what was your first? When did you start doing the land flipping? Let's go. Let's go back to dates. Like when did you do that?
About 2019.
Okay, so
2000, the end of 2018. Yeah.
about 4 years, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. About 4 or 5 years
And
ago.
how like what's the biggest check you collected in land flipping, and what's the smallest check you collected in land flipping?
I in my first year I made about 300,000, and I guess the first deal was kind of big, but there was a lot of smaller deals. So that was 1,500 profit each deal for about 150 of them. But it's all from one seller. So he decided to sell his land uh, for all of them. I just bought all of them. Yeah. So that's kind of the big one.
Good deal. But I know you made a lot of money in land. Like you made some big checks. Like what's the big check on land flipping look like?
The check is about 160,000.
The biggest
and
one.
yeah, yeah, and the I paid 60,000 for that land.
So you bought
Um,
it for 60, and you I guess you wholesaled it for 160 or
I bought it.
240 maybe.
I bought it and sold it.
So
So
you closed on it. You bought the piece of land.
yeah, I bought it. So in land is more like bigger return percentage wise. It's not gonna be like $1 million check, right?
Right.
But the percentage of return is huge. So right now, average, I make about 100% return on each deal.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So the if you have a lot of people, they start with very small deals. Let's say they only have $10,000, so you can make it to 100,000 really quick if you do land flipping. But with houses, it will be a little bit hard, especially right now. The competition is huge.
It's tougher. Yes.
Yeah.
More people are focused on houses and multifamilies and things like that than they are in land because they don't understand the land business.
Yeah.
Um, I made, I think the smallest check I've ever made was from a land deal. It was $750 for one piece of land. Hey, and Ray, and that was a JV deal. So it was 1,500, but each of us made 750. But what I tell people is, I say, okay, look, you made $750 on one deal, but what if you can do that deal 50 times a month,
Yeah. Absolutely.
right? So I
Yeah.
got a calculator here, like a good investor. So if we do 50 deals times 750, that's 37,000. I mean, I don't know, but I could live very well with $37,000 a month on flipping little chunks of land.
Absolutely. And
But
yeah.
no, no, go ahead.
Yeah, with land flipping, you can really start small, and especially people who own land normally don't have emotional attached to it, so
Nope.
they will willing to let it go very very quick.
They let it go very quick, easily. Because their kids didn't grow up in there. They don't have a house that they're attached emotionally to. For them, it's actually a problem. They might be paying taxes on it. They're tired of paying taxes on it. They don't have the means to go and build on it, or improve the land or do whatever. Um, so let's talk about that a little bit. What are, I would say, and I don't mean for you to disclose your whole system because you have a course that where you explain all of that. But what are the like the 5 steps that one must do in order to to be a successful land flipper?
In our system, we have 6 steps. The first step is we have to find a market. The market got to be not in the major growing city like Dallas, Austin. That's too competitive, but about 2 or 3 hours away. And we choose a county that has recent sold for more than 50, 60 sold for only land. So that's a good market. And then after we find a market, we just try to make offers in the entire county. So we send them direct mail to all the landowners and with the offer price, and they can call us back to either sell us the land or curse on us, right? So if they decide to sell it to us, and then we negotiate again. So that's a step. But the third step is we evaluate the land so that you know how to negotiate. So that's kind of like a preparation for negotiation. So after negotiation, you just have to close it, and then we sell it by the realtor. So you don't need to worry about it. And the process is very simple.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Can you do? Why don't you, instead of buying the land, if you like, because you mentioned a couple of times that you buy the land, you
Yeah,
close on it, and then you resell it, right? Why
absolutely.
not do an ovation on it if you're listing it with an agent?
Innovation, like
An ovation. You can do an ovation, and you don't have to buy the land because, and we can talk about that offline. That
oh,
might be something you may
okay,
want to introduce to
Okay,
your
I know what it means. So you put on the contract and list it with the agent right away, right away.
right, but you get the rights to list it. Like you gotta do it all legally, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can do that, but some states is illegal.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
some states don't allow that. And if you happen to be in states that allow people to do that, meaning you put on a contract, you just sell the contract on the MLS if you can. That's good. That's wonderful.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And um, okay, so those are the 6 steps that you have for land flipping. But what does a good piece of land need to look like in order to for you to say, I want to buy that one? Like, what are you looking for in a piece of land?
Um, I have a different view on that. Instead of pre-qualify or try to qualify the land, I tell people all the time, you are not the market. So, for example, if your land has a lot of trees, or even wetland, landlocked, or even the land is not even flat, it's a slope land. So sometimes people think, oh, nobody will buy that. It's a slope land. It's not even flat. What can I build on it? But instead of thinking that, I tell people, do you see any similar lots sold nearby? If there is, that means there are people buying those kind of land. And now you can use the exact problem to majority of the people. You can use that to negotiate with the seller, so you can get a deeper discount. Because you just bring up the concern, and maybe the seller will give you a deeper discount, and now you have a good deal. Instead of thinking, oh, that's a landlocked, nobody will buy a land with no access. But you know, if there's a similar lot sold nearby, I would buy it. I don't care because there's proven concept, right?
Got it, got it.
Yeah.
And what kind of pieces of land do people need to stay away from, in your opinion?
I think, for example, if the land has those problems that we just mentioned, and if there's no similar law so nearby, you might think about it. You might reconsider it, and now you have only another option, which is just offer a price that you cannot lose, or you can afford to lose. For example, I was buying a land in St. Lucie County, is kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I wasn't sure at all, so I bought it for 2 grand, and I can afford to lose that. At least I was mentally prepared. So when I posted online and on TikTok, I do TikTok, right? So a lot of comments says, "Oh, that's a wetland. Nobody will buy it." Uh, I know the area. I live nearby. There's no way you can sell it. Those kind of comments. I said, let's see, right? I post online. I sold it for 10,000. It's just like if your land is you're not sure, there's no similar lots on nearby, you just buy a price that you can afford to lose. Yeah.
Got it. I think we've done last year. We might have done maybe 5 to 10 land deals, and usually for us, we're not targeting land because we're targeting houses.
Yeah.
But the owners of the houses happen to have land that they don't want anymore, and
Yeah. All the time.
that's how we get to the land. Lately, I've been targeting land more actively because when I look back, those were the easiest deals that we ever did because there were no emotions attached. It's as simple as ordering a survey, and we do it after we have a buyer. We don't like. I'll give you an example. We did a piece of land in the middle of Texas. I don't remember the name of the town, but it was 2 1 acre lots, one right next to each other, and the owner, the ARV, so the market value of the land was $70,000. Okay, that was the market value of the land. Like if you were to put it on the MLS, you can get as much as 70,000. Right? We locked them up for $35,000 each, and what we did is we wholesaled it to two sisters that wanted to move each one
Together.
of them in the 1 acre lot for $55,000 each.
Oh wow.
So we made 20,000 on each lot, but the owner bought them because they saw that they were getting a piece of land with equity on it. So they were
Mm,
getting a steal basically, and
oh,
we were getting a steal from the seller, and that's what the seller wanted. When we asked, well, how much do you want? He said, I want $35,000 a piece. Done. We
yeah.
send the contract, we sign it, then we wholesale it to the to the ladies. There were two sisters, and I'm assuming they're building a house now.
Yeah.
Um, and then that's what I like about land is there's no emotions. All you gotta do is get a survey, and you get the right size of the lot. But have you ever encountered a piece of land that has something weird on the survey or something weird where people couldn't buy it or something along those lines?
I never encounter land that I cannot sell. People buy weird land all the time. But if the land has like a drainage crossing the land, that might be hard to sell. If the land has easement agreement with someone else, that might be harder to sell. So just be careful of those. You have to know that before you buy it, and then you can make the right judgment.
We had a piece of land in South, I think it was North Carolina or South Carolina, that was next to a house. Okay, and it was a good size. It was like a quarter of an acre or something like that.
Mm.
And we put it under contract. We found a buyer. The buyer put the earnest money, and he went to the city and asked. We had a survey, so everything was good. And we went to this. He went to the city, and the city says you cannot build on that lot.
Oh, why?
I have to look up my emails, but they would not allow him to build on the lot. So unfortunately, that was a piece of land we had to cancel the contract and refund the earnest money. I couldn't even believe it. I think I would have bought it without even seeing it because there was nothing saying that you couldn't build on the lot. But that was a piece of land that had a problem, and we refunded the earnest money, and the buyer was. But that's a buyer that knew how to do his due diligence. He went to the city and said, "Hey, I'm planning on building a house there," and the city said, "No, you cannot build a house in there because I guess the land was like at the end of the street and it was like the last corner lot, and for some reason it was condemned. I don't remember why. Even the city couldn't tell us why, but it's
Mm,
like that piece of land you cannot build on. So, um,
yeah.
and we went to the seller and we said, look, if you fix this and you remove that, then we can buy the land. But we never heard back from the person. So um,
Yeah.
that's an unfortunate one of a million situation, right?
Yeah. So you got to be careful of that. And even unbuildable land, people still buy. You just have to find the right buyer, and of course, you have to negotiate with the seller for a much deeper discount.
Of course, yeah, and we had it at a good, like we got it at a good price. But once we found out we had that challenge, the buyer, he was gonna build a house, so he said, I can't, I'm not gonna touch it, and because maybe somebody else will buy it and go fix the problem with the city. But in this case, that was not and the seller didn't want to discount it either. So he's like, no, I'll go figure it out and we'll talk later. So now let's
Yeah.
talk about you said earlier that you do self development, right? Like you read audiobook, you listen to audiobooks and you read books and things like that. What do you think are the things that have helped you the most becoming a successful entrepreneur?
I think is one thing I tell people all the time is we have three kind of people. The first kind of people is a complainer. They always complain someone else, the government. Why my dad wasn't rich? If he is rich, don't have to work, right? But those kind of people always blame someone else but themselves. But we don't want to be them. We don't even want them to be around us. Otherwise you will be influenced for sure. That's the first kind of people. And second kind of people is they kind of comfortable, right? So they have their own cars, house. They think they made it. They don't have any other desire. They're like, I'm comfy. I don't need anything else. So those kind of people are kind of grateful for what they have, but they're not gonna go after something after the dream. They kind of live a common life, right? But the third kind of people is what I always try to achieve, which is very very hard. This kind of people is the rich people, not only in materials but in their mind. What I mean is, if you look at Steve Jobs or Henry Ford, they all have one thing in common, which is they can be able to see the future in their mind, and they can grab the future to the present and act as if that future is already achieved. So, for example, when Steve Jobs created iPhone, he didn't tell his team, "Hey, go ahead and create a phone that better than BlueBerry. I don't care what it is, just create it." Right? He didn't say that. He said, "I need a phone that only have one button, and that one button can control everything else, and everything else should be a screen." So he went to the future somehow. He grabbed the future to the present day, and he acts as if it's already accomplished, right? So that's a ability that the rich people have. For example, when you don't have money and imagine you are earning $1 million a year is extremely hard. But once you have that ability and act as if you already achieve it, you will be unlimited. You'll be limitless. That's the right words, right? So Henry Ford is the same thing. When he created the eight-cylinder engine, and nobody believed him. Not even his experts. But he said, "Go create it anyways." So eventually they created, right?
Yeah, no big achievement came from trying to stay small or complacent, right? It was always somebody seeking for more, 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 and more, and and dreaming that it could be done. But you're right. Like before things materialize, you have to feel it. Like if it's already there, otherwise it's
Yeah,
not going to happen. That's the law of attraction. Basically, you have to be able to feel it with you, within you, and that's how you're going to vibrate in the same frequency as all those things that you want to attract in life.
yeah,
um,
yeah. What's most important is your action, and but majority of people don't take the action unless they feel that's possible. So you won't take actions if you don't think it's possible. So if you think it's possible, and now you take a lot of actions, and now you have results, right? So it's all start with what do you think?
what does a day look like in your life, right? Like like from whenever you wake up to whenever you go to bed, what's a normal day on Ray's life?
I guess I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. Is from nature or from my childhood. I always feel like today I gotta do something that matters, right? um, no matter what achievements I had in the last week. So every single week, I see the entire week as a challenge. As far as the numbers goes, as far as how many books I read, as far as how many people I have talked to. So I always try to talk to more people, on the land flipping business, on the coaching business. Also, I try to read more. There's so many books I can read. Even I'm in China, I bought so many books and read them. So I guess a lot of people are born that way, but if you're born like kind of laid back, you can still have a goal that you think is worthwhile, and then when you try to achieve it, you will feel motivated to do the actions.
That's good. We're gonna say hi to Joanna Sanchez, who's listening and watching right now. She's a friend from Houston, Texas. We have people from Louisville, Kentucky connected. Caesar is online. He said, I had in the near past, a piece of land with 10 acres. Um, I'm pretty sure he was talking about having it under contract or something along those lines.
Yeah. So
Um,
to me.
Sell it to you, right? Hey, why not? Like we'll send it to you if it's a good deal. You'll buy it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much. Now, do you buy from wholesalers?
I try not to, but if that's a good deal, yes.
Why not? You know, I bought houses from wholesalers before, and I'm a wholesaler myself. But if I get a good deal, I'm like, you know what? This is too good
Yeah.
to pass. I'm gonna go take on it.
Yeah, because I guess that's a problem myself, which is I always believe when I negotiate I can get a much deeper discount, um, but when the wholesaler try to sell it, they already add their fee is not gonna be, what I'm looking for. But if the deal makes sense, I will still buy it.
That's the Chinese in you, man. Trying to hustle every penny you can, right? So it's normal. Like people that are in business, they we know that we can get deeper and deeper and deeper, and every penny counts basically when you're negotiating. I like to think about it as a win-win-win. So if I can win, the seller can win, my buyers can win, everybody wins, then it's gonna be a good business practice that everybody wins. And I don't like it when I buy a property and the person that I bought the property from feels like we stole it, because they're gonna have some resentment and things of that nature towards you. So we always try to do the best we can for the seller. We do the best we can for us as well, because we're on we're in it to make money. We're not in it for charitable reasons. Um, that's what a business is supposed to be like. I asked my team today that question. It's like, what is the purpose of this company? And I heard multiple answers until one guy got up and said, the purpose of this company is to be profitable and make money. And I said, bingo, you got it. That's what we're in business for. And it's very important that people understand that and have that present, because otherwise their efforts are going to get sidetracked and go somewhere else where they're not supposed to. So
Yeah.
so you read, you do a lot of self development, you do a lot of. You're on a mastermind with me in the family mastermind. That's where we met.
Yeah.
What do you think of masterminds? Like, what's your opinion on mentoring, coaching, mastermind, things of that nature?
I think it will save you years of self-employing. If you try to do it yourself, a lot of time people think, "Oh, I save a lot of money. Just go to YouTube and watch the free stuff, and I can be able to do it myself." So what they don't notice is the free stuff is normally the most expensive one to go through. So it's always like that. So let's say you pay a guy 10,000 to teach you how to do something, and he tell you to do it, and now you have the confidence because he tells you, right? And he has done it, and you just follow him. That's it. But if you do it yourself, and then you go to YouTube, and all these people talking about different stuff, and then you'll be like, okay, who should I listen to? Or maybe I try this guy, and then when things get hard, and it will, and you start to doubt him, you start to doubt the first guy, and then you think maybe the second guy has a better solution. Let me go to follow him for a second, and you follow him for a second, and now things get hard. It doesn't work for you. You go to the third guy. Now you waste time, waste money, and just not worth it at all. Free stuff is always expensive, most expensive.
How does your team look like today?
I have one VA. That's about it.
That's about it. So you do you
Yeah,
do all the negotiations.
I do. Yeah,
So you're still very much in your business. Like you pick up the phone, you make the phone calls, you talk to the owners, make the offers, send the contracts, all of that.
yeah. I think I should hire an acquisition manager and teach him how to negotiate. But I do enjoy the process, and sometimes all entrepreneur has the problem. They think they're the hero. You know, I'm the hero. Nobody else can do it better than me. Mindset,
Right,
which is totally not true. But
right.
yeah. So, but land flipping business is extremely easy as far as the process, the things that you have to do. I got nothing else to do, right? So I gotta just talk to them.
How many deals on average do you do a year?
About 30 to 50.
And what's the average profit per deal?
Right now I try to raise it. It used to be 10,000. Right now I try to do at least 20 or 30. And last year we did pretty well, and this year it's okay, but I just have to mail more right now.
So you basically focus on direct mail.
I only do direct mail with the offer price.
What about cold calling, texting? Why not, do those?
Yeah, I hate cold calling. I think it's a waste of time. Cold calling is is uh is 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 a method that turn you to cold, right? So you got a lot of rejections, no deals, and the process is extremely not fun. As far as testing is a highly regulated activity. So, but no matter what you do, there are people with success at cold calling, like Brand Daniels, right? So if you choose that method, just stick on this one, right? Don't change it around. Don't say I will do direct mail a little bit, I do cold calling a little bit and see what works. No, it doesn't work that way. So just choose one, and then if that's the way you want to go, just stick with it.
Yeah, we do a lot of cold calling, a lot of texting. For us, it works. We get deals,
Yeah.
leads every day, and we also get deals all the time from cold calling and texting. That's why I asked, and because I used to do mailers before, like in 2000, I think we stopped doing mailers before the pandemic, before the lockdown, and in 2017, I used to send 80,000 pieces of mail per month.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, because we were doing on a real estate at a large scale, right? So our marketing budget, even though we produce our own letters, because we had a company called Direct Mail Out. Basically, we sold yellow letters, postcards, and all that.
Hmm.
At the time, the cost of printing a yellow letter was like, with everything, the stamp and all that, was probably like 55 cents maybe. For the
Yeah.
postcard was less. But that's why we were fully integrated. We brought it all in house to control the cost and mail quicker. Okay. Um, Once I discovered data and cold calling and texting, I said, man, there's no way I can do letters ever again, because it cost me 8 cents per skip trace, a record, and then the text message is 1.5 cents going out, in and out. You go from 55 cents to 15 cents, if that, per record,
Mm.
and you get to talk to the people quicker, because the mailing route is more, you send the letters and then they start calling back, and it's more of a reaction thing. Um, we went from contracting, I don't know, houses 3 month, 3 weeks to a month, to a couple of weeks only, because now we're talking to the people quicker. So maybe something for you to explore. If I know cold calling is hard, we have cold callers, and we actually have a company called Top of the Line BA, where we provide cold callers and texters. I still don't know how the hell they do it, because they get on the computer all day long and they're dialing and dialing and dialing and dialing. I mean, we pay them well for that, but it's a very demanding job,
Yeah.
and I think my use of my time is better doing something else. I agree with you. It's brutal.
Yeah.
But
It's all
work.
good as long as it's all good as long as you don't do it.
Exactly. Yeah. I like to outsource all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And hire it, and we train people, and we're hiring every day now, for those jobs, and eventually. So what the way we do it now, Ray, is that they come in as a cold caller, then they graduate into a lead manager, and then from a lead manager they graduate into a closer. And
Mm.
we actually have a lot of investors that use our services, that have lead managers, cold callers, and closers working on their team. They're not negotiating anymore. They train the people on how to do it, and it's successful. So, but anyhow, guys, I want to invite you October 27th and 28th in Orlando, Florida, to Pros of Real Estate, which is an event where we're going to have 200 to 300 people showing up. We're going to have amazing speakers. I'm not sure if Ray is going to be in the U.S. to attend during that time, but go to prosofrealestate.com and get your tickets. They're going up in price September 1st. Right now it's August 30th. We raise the prices, and the closer you get to the event, the more expensive it is to attend. So check out the website, Pros of Real Estate. I'd like to see you there. It's in Orlando, Florida, October 27th, 28th, 2 full days, a bunch of great speakers, a bunch of great people attending, and we're going to have a great time. Ray, brother, thank you so much for jumping in with us, for sharing your journey from janitor all the way to multi-million-dollar real estate investor. I admire what you've done. It's remarkable. You came to this country or to the U.S. 13 years ago, and now you're teaching many. How can people get a hold of you? Like, how can people know more about Ray? How can they buy your course? Where do they go?
Just add my Instagram, virtual flipland. That's one word, virtual flipland.
Virtual Flipland, at Virtual Flipland. Send a DM. Say, hey, I'm interested in learning how to flip land. Ray is gonna show you the ways. He's gonna teach you the secrets that he has. And he's done. How many students have you helped down so far, Ray?
Right now I have over 100 students.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know the number, but if you follow the process, I'm sure they will um, make some deals. I already have people make a lot of money. For example, we all know Zach Booth, and he's a house guy too, and he has been making a lot of money on land already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Shout out to him. Awesome, brother. Well, thank you so much for being here today, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, Ricardo.
No problem. Just stay online, right?